What is up, everybody? We just got done watching the UFC Taira versus Royval. And also, I mean, it was a good day for combat sports as a whole. There's BKFC, there was Octagon, there was Beterbiev WINS, which was a decent card. There was also the UFC Fight Night, which we just got done, wrapped up. Brandon Royval wins a split decision over Tatsuro Taira. Both men fought a fantastic fight. Isha seconds that. He says, such a sick fight. What is up, JL? He says, I'm happy mercy. Thoughts on Ben Whitaker? We'll get to that. I actually didn't watch the fight, so I just kind of heard that the ending was super weird. Octagon broke the MMA attendance record. History was made today. Yeah, like a lot of people that I talked to, at least, or just a few people that did mention the Octagon card, said that it was super mid and wasn't good. But like I said in your chat, I'm like, dude, who cares? 600 people are in your chat right now. Dude, if it's getting the views, like, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Either way, I hope that card was good. But no, this card overall wasn't super good for me, but it was really low expectations heading in anyway. There was some good debuts, there were some good finishes, a couple upsets, so it was good stuff. But yeah, Royval versus Taira just wrapped up, and let me tell you something, man. I learned in this fight that Tatsuro Taira has the ability to grapple with anybody. That guy is a menace when it comes to getting the back and holding position on the back. Actually, I should probably pull up Fight Center, but good win for Brandon Royval. I was high on Brandon Royval, always have been. Ever since the guy debuted in the UFC, I've been super, super stoked on Brandon Royval. And I thought this was a tough fight for him, especially considering his run as of late. Not that he's coming off of a bunch of losses or anything, but so let's check this out. Obviously, losing to Pantoja and having that really close, kind of controversial fight with Brandon Moreno made a lot of people just kind of pick against him in this fight, and they thought it would be a tough style matchup. He gets it done, though. So look at the significant strike totals, or the total strike. I mean, wow. 172 strikes for Brandon Royval and 80 for Tatsuro Taira, almost doubling up the strikes. Significant strikes, 124, 42. Brandon Royval mostly targeting the head. No leg kicks from Brandon Royval in this fight. Some body shots, but look at this, man. 12 minutes and 13 seconds of control time and one sub attempt, 6 out of 15 takedowns for Tatsuro Taira. This guy is a problem on the ground, and he can hold his own on the ground with just about anybody. It was super sick. But Brandon Royval, man, he pieced up Tatsuro Taira on the feet. Tatsuro Taira fought back valiantly, but overall, it just wasn't enough. His hands aren't really up to par with the likes of Brandon Royval. But Brandon Royval did make some mistakes, though, in this fight, I will say. Hurting Tatsuro Taira and then choosing to grapple got him stuck for most of the third round and the fourth. What is up, Andrew B? Swiss League circa 1916, though. What's happening, Amberly and Paradox? Good to see everybody hopping in. What's up, Sven? Amberly says that fight was great. However, Brandon needed to back off. Yes, exactly. He chose to grapple with Tatsuro Taira when it would have been a bigger win, and he might have even finished Tatsuro Taira if he chose not to grapple with him. But honestly, like, if you watch Brandon Royval fights, like, the guy is always down to grapple. He's always down to just have a fight. I don't think that he's ever really, like, I'm not saying it wasn't a mistake for him to grapple, but you can see as soon as he grappled, he just went for a sub. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and that's reflective in the stats, right? Like, he went for 3 sub attempts in this fight. And Tetsuro Taira only went for one, trying to go for heel hooks, rear naked chokes, armbar. Like, he's just a wild fighter, and that's why we love him. But yes, you're absolutely right, Amberly. And I was even saying that in the chat. I was like screaming to myself. I'm like, stop grappling! Stop grappling! But nonetheless, he gets it done. Split decision. I thought it was pretty clearly Brandon Royval's fight, but I thought that there was a case to be made for Tetsuro Taira getting the win. Ultimately, Brandon Royval does get it done. The question on everybody's minds, though, is like, now who is Pantoja going to fight? Apparently, it was announced that he will indeed fight Kaya Sakura for his debut. But hey, what's going on, Hank the Tank? Are you going to hop in here? Let me know. It was a great main event. Yeah, it was. It was a sick fight. You got to see everything, striking, grappling, high level grappling. But yeah, I think that the question that Hank the Tank had me kind of dialed in on was like, the flyweight division, now Brandon Royval is. I think Tetsuro Taira was going to be like that dude. He was like the most hyped up dude. If he would have won this fight, he probably would have been the next number one contender after Kaya Sakura. But yeah, nonetheless, though, Brandon Royval just proves that he is a top guy in this weight class. So sick. Let's see. What's up, Paradox? Said he made $40 on this card. Good shit, dude. Doing a lot better than me. Yeah, I don't gamble anymore, but anyway, let me know if you're gonna hop in, Hank. But yeah, main event was sick. Who is next for Brandon Royval? I think Amir Albazi, if Amir Albazi wins. Unfortunately, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear that he can't. I mean, he is 1-1 against Moreno technically. Has lost 2 times to Pantoja now, so I understand what you're saying. I just think that it's good. I think he's a very exciting fighter, and I think it was a good win for him nonetheless. Even if you wanted him to lose or you picked him to lose, I don't know, man. I don't know what more can really be said about this main event. The next fight was Jung Young Park versus Brad Tavares. So Brad Tavares, man, he comes out early and he drops Jung Young Park. Definitely was not expecting that. Won the first round. Jung Young Park comes back. He gets a little bit of that grappling implemented, but man, he's a scrapper. He's a tough guy. Always comes to fight. Same with Brad Tavares, but I thought that Jung Young Park was doing good work on the feet, and he definitely did good work on the ground. If you look at the stats here, I mean, again, 73 strikes total for Brad Tavares, 124 for Jung Young Park. Largely targeting the head. Both men were 19 leg kicks were landed in 6 minutes and 32 seconds of control time. 2 out of 6 takedowns were landed, and no sub attempts for either man. I think we all just kind of knew Iron Turtle would get it done for this fight, but I think that Jung Young Park is a very exciting fighter to watch. It's always fun, always scrappy. I just was not expecting him to just be that down against Tavares on the feet. In hindsight, it makes sense, right? Largely a striker versus grappler matchup, but nonetheless, it was interesting to see Brad Tavares hurt Jung Young Park, and I think that's going to be a problem for him up at middleweight. I also think that Jung Young Park is like an undersized middleweight, so he's going to have a lot of problems when it comes to the upper guys of that division. Don't see him being a champ, but definitely a perennial, like top 10 contender in the future. Good win for Jung Young Park, but he definitely had some shaky moments. So the next fight was Chidi Njokuani versus Jared Gooden. Jared Gooden in the first round appeared to, you were just like, oh yeah, he's going to take him down. He's going to get this done. But this was a clinch clinic, as Isha coined it, from Chidi Njokuani. I hated this fight. I didn't like it at all. I understand that it wasn't the worst fight ever. I just think both these guys kind of suck. That's just my opinion. Chidi Njokuani, known as more of a striker. But people forget that he was a Muay Thai guy, and yeah, the clinch work from him was pretty good, but just not very entertaining for my eye. He did kind of gas out as well. Both of them were pretty gassed by the third round, and I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not high on either of these guys. Wasn't heading into it. To me, it was kind of a toss up. Chidi and Jaquani does end up getting the win. A deserved win as well. He said that he wants like a top 15 guy next. I got news for you, buddy. You're gonna get hurt in one of those fights against somebody that can actually strike with you and then out grapple you. Not good for him. And I just don't like that Chidi. He's a striker, but his finishing ability as of late has kind of fallen off a cliff. Um, Nonetheless, though, Jared Gooden just gets kind of dominated in this fight. Not much more to say. Grant Dawson gets a TKO over Rafa Garcia in the second round. He then says that his wife has a big butt that you can bounce a quarter off of. So interesting to see that side of Grant Dawson, I guess. Good mic work for him, depending on how you feel about, publicly saying that your wife has a nice ass. I mean, again, there's no problem with it. But he did say like a dump truck. So whatever. But definitely overperforming here was Grant Dawson. A lot of people coined him as like a boring grappler that would just lay and pray to a decision win. And that's actually how I predicted the fight would go. But nope, he gets a finish, dominates Rafa Garcia. Was one of the biggest favorites on the card, but still an impressive win. I think he overperformed here. And I'm just glad to see Grant Dawson get a win because a lot of people were down on him. He was on a long winning streak, might have even been undefeated, and then he just ran into Bobby Green. So it's good to see him bounce back in this way and get an impressive victory over Rafa Garcia. The next fight was Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. I thought Alex Morono clearly won the first round, and I actually picked him to win. The problem with Alex Morono, though, is like by the second, third round, the dude is absolutely cooked. I pretty much predicted that Alex Morono would get the decision victory, but I was going back and forth on it because both of these guys are at the twilight of their careers, but turns out Daniel Rodriguez got that dog in him, and he fought hard for the last two rounds, and I think he clearly won the last two. I was kind of hoping that they would rob him and get me my pick right, but no, Alex Morono, man. I don't even understand how you could even pick this guy again, and I don't even know. I think the UFC likes him. He does fight quite often, but I don't see a case for him even being in the organization anymore at this point. And what is up, Ganskow? He says, D-Rod, Ben had that dog. Yeah, 100%. I don't know why, in hindsight, I picked Alex Morono to get this done, but Daniel Rodriguez gets a bounce back win, and he looked good. Not much more to say. I think Alex Morono just gassed in the last two, and looks like Daniel Rodriguez still has a little bit more left in the tank. So good win for him. CJ Vergara gets absolutely mauled in the first round by Tamirov. I was down on Tamirov. I mean, I did pick him to win, but I wasn't sure. Getting quick knockouts in Ryzen to me doesn't necessarily always equate to like having a good UFC run, but he absolutely dominates CJ Vergara. CJ Vergara on the run immediately after he gets hurt. And he ends up just eventually stopping him with some good body shots. Vicious stuff from Tamirov. Definitely hyped to see what this kid does next in his career. JSP gets fucking out-grappled big time by Pat Sabatini. I was giving JSP a chance in this fight. I actually picked him to win, but a lot of people were telling me, hey, man, if you want to play grappling with Pat Sabatini, he's gonna get it done. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, he gets subbed trying to play that game with him, and it is what it is, man. And good win for Pat Sabatini because he's been losing a lot, not looking super good. So I picked Morono, but yeah, they're almost the same person. Yeah, exactly. They're both just the twilight of their career. D-Rod lost. Morono won 1 and 2. Definitely was a close second round. Skate, do you like DBZA? It's hilarious. Highly recommend DBZA. I don't think I know what that is. Vergara in full sprint. Yeah, straight up. It's not a Swiss MMA promotion. That's hilarious. JSP 3-fight losing streak not looking good. Yeah. And I didn't think that he looked bad in those 2 losses that he had prior to this fight. In this fight in particular, I think his grappling got exposed, and, but I also think Pat Sabatini is, a fantastic grappler. I was just really down on Pat Sabatini. A lot of people were trying to tell me, dude, Pat's gonna win this. He's gonna out grapple JSB. A lot of people were saying that it would go to decision, but nope, he gets a sub. It looks really good. Good for Pat Sabatini because he really needed an impressive performance just to bounce back. So Themba Garimbo gets a decision win over Nico Price. I had picked Themba to get a knockout here. And you see he largely just dominated this fight, 30-27 on all the judges' scorecards. But Themba did at one point kind of hurt Nico Price. But yes, Nico is very tough, and he loses this fight. Again, another guy I think should be cut. Let's see. I'm so hyped right now. Going to be tough to nap before boxing. What a tremendous day of fights. We're so blessed. Agreed. It was a good one. Again, this card to me wasn't super fantastic, but nonetheless, I mean, and it was really fights like this, right? I don't think Nico Price should even be in the UFC anymore, personally. Themba Garimbo, on the other hand, had an unimpressive performance, and it's just hard to tell where he's at in this division right now. I think he's going to have a tough time again with some of the guys above him, but nonetheless, he gets a good win. He moves on. Junior Taffa versus Sean Sharaf. Sean Sharaf coming in on short notice after Chris Barnett had to pull out of the fight. I said round 1 KO. Hank was fucking on it when he said round 2, so good for him. This fight was fun for about 2 minutes, and then they both just completely gassed out. There was a point where Sean Sharaf did take down Junior Taffa, and I was like, oh shit, there goes the neighborhood. But nope, Junior Taffa hangs in there, second round, gets it done, knocks out Sean Sharaf, and good for him because I think his job was on. I think a lot of fighters were fighting for their jobs on this card, personally. Contender Series is about to wrap up. They're cutting a lot of contracts, but let's go. Junior Taffa gets it done in a fight that reminded me of Dada 5000 versus Kimbo Slice with how slow motion it was. I actually fell asleep during this fight, so yeah, Julia gets the win. Good for her. Dan Argueta versus Cody Haddon had just a scrap. Dan Argueta, I mean, both of them were bloody by the end of this. Didn't watch this fight super closely. I was watching some boxing, but I think Dan Argueta overperformed here. He looked really good. But Cody Haddon, man, great fighter. Getting in off the Contender Series, you can see he almost doubled him up on strikes, and definitely more than doubled him up on significant, or he doubled him up everywhere. Total strikes and significant, mixing his shots up well to the head and body. 2 leg kicks do land for him. I think that Dan Argueta, though, looked better than I expected him to. He's another one of those fighters that probably fighting for his job here. But Cody Haddon gets it done, and then the first fight, quick round 2 sub from Chris, or what the fuck is this fucker's name? I can't even remember what this fucking guy's name is. Whatever, Carpenter. Subs in his debut. He looked good. Good for him. So yeah, that was the UFC card. Let me go find this Beterbiev and Bival card if I can, if the shit'll stop glitching out on me. Fucking ads. Okay, what is happening? But yeah, I mean, tell me your guys' thoughts on the UFC card tonight. That show and get on to the boxing card that was. These are the only 2 cards that I personally watched today, but I know that there was a lot more that did happen. Shit's fucking going insane over here. Take that off the screen. I don't know if Hank's gonna jump in or not. Let's see. Taffa got us the safe parlay. Taffa doesn't belong in the UFC. Almost lost to a short notice guy. Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. I accidentally pressed 05 speed button on our remote control. Sorry, Skatesman. He says he's coming. All right, cool. Let me just break down the rest of this then. My computer's freaking out right now on Tapology. All these fucking ads. But yeah, I mean, as far as the UFC card goes, I think you could probably give it a 7. 7 out of 10. And that main event was a banger. Let's be fair. Hank is actually here, but I'm just going to quickly run through the results before I bring him in. Let's see. So Beterbiev and Bivol, very close fight. Super close fight. I wouldn't have been upset with a draw, and 2 judges actually did rule it a draw. I think that 116 to 112 is a pretty bad scorecard, but this was a fight that created a lot of division, and still is. A lot of people think that Dimitri Bivol got robbed here. Fabio Wardley gets a quick knockout over Fraser Clark after their war and fight of the year potential fight that they had. Fabio Wardley impressed. I knew he would get it done, but I did not expect it to be like that. Jayo Patai gets a stoppage over a can, basically, just to get well fight. Chris Eubank knocks out Camille Schmerda. Mercilessly, they stopped the fight after he dropped him several times in the fight. Sky Nicholson gets a decision, and Beta Whitaker fights. I did not watch this one, but I heard it was a very weird stoppage. I'll have Hank the Tank kind of jump in and tell me more about that. But he's here, so let me bring him in. Take this off the screen. What is up?
Hey, how's it going, Skatesman?
Good. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Like, I have felt worse watching shorter cards. So I am actually shocked that I survived like 8 or 9 hours of boxing and MMA all at once and didn't lose my mind. But I was able to do it. So there you go. I'm good.
There was times where it was rocky and rough, but you know what, man? You got through it.
Yeah. And hey, I did pretty damn well in my picks for UFC Fight Night. Like, I was on, I think it was a 10-pick win streak.
Yeah, you killed it tonight, man.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. But
yeah, I think that brings our total to like 8-7, or we may even be tied now. I think it's 8-7 though. I'm not entirely sure. I did win the last, or I think I'm at 9, so I think it's 9-7 now. So
I'll take
definitely getting close, man. It's good shit.
Yeah, I always try.
But yeah, I mean, what did you think about firstly the UFC? It's the fresher in our minds. So give me your thoughts on UFC, and first the main event.
I thought it was a great fight, back and forth. Unfortunately, the sequence that everybody was talking about and being like, "Oh man, that was a great sequence. This fight's awesome." That was the one moment my stream buffered. So you get to watch that great sequence where there was a bunch of scrambling back and forth. He gets on top, Royval gets on top, they get up. I didn't see that, but there was a lot of back and forth. Really impressive grit from Taira to take rounds 2 and 4. I thought he did take those, but I agree with the judges that Royval got the 5th. And everybody's like, "Oh, don't worry, they're going to rob him and give it to Taira, Hank. The decision's not there yet. It was already in, as far as I was concerned. I think Royval."
Isha has an interesting comment.
Yes, throwing his career away right now. Stupid, dumb punk kid. Taira.
Okay.
I said during a moment where basically it was in the 5th round, and that's why I said throwing his career away, because it was the decisive 5th round, and he didn't shoot a takedown right away. He waited like 2 minutes, I think it was, before shooting a takedown. And like, dude, if it's tied 2-2 going into that 5th round and you've been beaten up by Royval over and over again, you're exhausted. Like, I'd shoot within the first minute, or at least try to, because he ended up getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty reactive, though, saying he's throwing his career away.
Well, he's gotten fraud checked now, and he can never do any good damage.
How is he fraud checked? He just had a fantastic, tough fight where he just lost the split. I don't think that's a fraud check.
Finish Royval with 4 minutes on his back, and he can never get any good shots in. Like, if this were Moicano, this fight would have been over. He would have gotten on the back, boom, 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 and got him out of there. But this kid has like tiny little wiggly noodle arms and couldn't get the finish. He could never get a TKO of Royval.
He landed some good shots on Royval on the ground, but again, I don't think that he's a submission guy. And he did get a knockout when his, like, what was it? Well, I think he got a knockout before the Alex Perez fight. But as far as fraud checking, like that's way just incorrect. This was a really tough fight where he arguably could have won even. So I don't agree with that.
I don't see him getting back to the mountaintop personally. I don't know. I just think he's going to have enough guys who can stop.
I don't think that's throwing his career away or getting fraud check. I mean, I think he proved in this fight that he is a top contender in the division.
Yeah, but it's sort of like Roundtree losing to Pereira, and hey, he had a great fight. Oh, like Isha's saying in the chat, his stock's going to go up. Yeah, and he's never going to win a world title.
Okay,
So
but like the amount of fighters that come into the UFC and win a world title was like barely anybody ever.
I know, but that was his path, and that was his shtick, and that's what all the promos are about. So now he's just Tatsuro Taira.
Dude, that's like what everybody does to every contender that's coming up. That's the UFC machine, bro. Like that's literally what they do.
Yeah, well, I don't see anybody beating Pantoja right now. So
Sure, I understand that.
you're just
I
gonna
don't
just
think
have
that
it
that
forever.
means that. I just don't think that means Tetsuo retired, threw his career away, and then he got fraud checked. Though I think that that's just totally incorrect.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just don't see a better future for him now. And neither do Asakura. I think he's going to lose to Pantoja, easy peasy. And then we're going to have Pantoja for 2 or 3 more years, and then he'll retire as never.
Sven Svensson says Tyra might as well hang up the gloves. Yeah, wow, man. Yeah. I mean, I think the fight was amazing, and Tyra could have
I'm not
arguably
saying
won.
it was a bad fight. I thought that it was a great fight, but
Jay Sand, what's up? I've never seen you in the chat. He says, "Is Skate related to MMA Joey?" No, I am not.
might be.
But
Add a few more layers
yeah.
on there.
Nonetheless, I'm just shocked with his grappling, dude. His back take is impeccable. It was so incredible to see him take the back of Royval for so long. I think he had like 12 minutes plus of control time, and against one of the more scrambly guys in the flyweight division. I mean, Royval is constantly getting out of position. You doing all right there, buddy?
Yeah. He just reminded me that he had
Of
him
what?
for like 13 minutes and couldn't get one in one choke.
Yeah. He had one sub attempt.
Memories.
I mean, the choke was pretty close on Royval too. The one sub attempt that he did have. I don't know, man. I don't think that's grounds for being bummed and depressed. But I mean, again, I'll just say I thought it was super impressive that he had controlled Royval for so long in the fight. Having the back of him, that body lock is super sick. Royval was not able to break it for long stretches of the fight. Super impressive to me. Royval, I think that one thing I will say about Taira that we learned is that his boxing is getting better. But as far as like the I guess you could say like the Diaz bro style of boxing that Brandon Royval has is was just too much for Tetsuro Taira and nearly finished. Nearly got finished.
He did crack Royval a few times with the right hand or left hand. So I got to give him props for having better punches on the feet than he does on the ground. But yeah, he definitely was almost finished in that third round.
I mean, I think that's like that can be said for just about anybody though.
Yeah, but there are guys like Moicano who are going to finish guys once it's on the round, or leave them their face a bloody mess so that they can't even fight for a few rounds after. This guy is doing little tiny, like he's a toy hammer. He is not going to bloody up an opponent with his striking on top ever.
I mean, I think that's fair, but at the same time, like Hanato Moicano's style of ground and pound and grappling is like it's pretty rare even in the UFC at this stage. So
yeah, well, back in the day when someone got on top and got into full mount, they punched a guy 3 or 4 times and then they were out.
Well, sure, but I mean, even full mount in this day and age of MMA is not the most dominant position for ground and pound, if you ask me.
But still, I just think Tyra's ground and pound is just not up to par. And maybe he gets better with age. Maybe once he's in his like late 20s and he gets some muscle on him, maybe then he can start finishing fools once he's on top. But yeah, I just don't. With the way he punches, he's just not equipped to finish a guy on the ground.
Let's read some comments. Through career wave project is hilarious. Negative Nancy. Royval even said Taira will be champion. Wow, I didn't know he said that. I didn't actually watch his post-fight interview. I set up the stream. Give him time and he will be back. You'll see. Taira did great. Royval was just better. Yeah, 100%, man. Skate is on the MMA Joey diet. Hey, I'm trying to slim down, guys. All right. I only weigh 160 on a bad day. So he threw his career back take with a back take. Let's be real. Oh, Isha is on fire right now. Fraud checked for incredible back take and constantly trying to finish, career thrown away for coming up close.
Okay, can you settle down a little bit? Why don't we talk about something else? because you're just doubling down on it over and over again. Again, I try to be merciful to you, Isha, and not respond and be like, "Hey, let him get his kicks in." You've commented like 8 fucking comments at my expense. Quit it.
I mean, I think that he's more just like trying to give you his perspective, and I mean, Moicano is 35. Moicano's not a prospect. If you look at who Taira has faced and Royval faced, you'll see the skill difference. That's a pretty good point. I think Royval's been at the top of the division a little longer, facing the tougher guys. Taira only fought Perez, who was ranked. Yeah, the reason why I picked Royval in this fight was because of the fight with Edgar Chairez. But I think even from the Edgar Chairez fight, there was a lot of improvements that that Tetsuro Taira has made. Moicano has good ground and pound in 2 fights, and all of a sudden he's Khabib. Bismillah. Wait until Moicano fights a well-rounded guy. I'm responding to the things you say, but I'll quit. Politics or betting odds, but shouldn't be discussed. Neither. What we will discuss, though, is, I mean, do you want to talk about the rest of the UFC card? Or do you want to talk about the Beterbiev and Bivol card?
Whatever is clever.
I mean, you seem really down now.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you want to just hop off, that's all right, man. I'll bring somebody else in and we can just talk about the night that was.
Sure.
All right.
All right. Catch you later.
All right, man. Have a good night, man. Yikes. All right. Anybody wants to hop on in. We'll talk about some fights. If not, I'll probably do something else, probably take a nap. I'm going to try to do Rise West tonight, kickboxing. It'll probably be going on at the same time as Isha and Jay do their fight companions for the Japanese boxing card that's going to go down today. But yeah, if nobody else wants to hop in, yeah, that took a fast turn. It certainly did. Chummy boy, good to see you. I'm glad that you're awake after your hangover. Yeah. But you know what? Regardless, I think that the fight was amazing. And Taira showed some good stuff, man. I'm not down on Taira. I mean, it does suck that he was such like a fast rising prospect and he lost this fight. But at the same time, that's a flyweight division, right? Like it doesn't take that many fights to get to the top. Paradox says he thought Bivol won. In fact, Bivol just won. What happened? Hank the Tank got very upset because of the main event. So he needed to step out. Bivol ex-wife was happy he lost. She made a whole video bashing him. Yeah, she does not like him very much. I like your chair. Hell yeah, thank you. I don't even want to talk about boxing. It's still stupid and gay. Ben Whittaker almost lost to a journeyman. Yeah. I didn't see the fight. Some people were saying he almost lost. And then there was like a moment when they fell out of the ring. Somebody should hop in though. Somebody should hop in. I'll drop the chat one more time. Or I'll drop this link to the stream one more time if anybody wants to hop in. I should have commented on the stream, not the chat. No, dude, like I appreciate all your chats, man. And the thing is like that's why me and Big Red get along is because we're just down to argue with people. Like, I don't know. And also I work in the construction industry. So like arguing is a daily thing for me. Just arguing about nonsense is a daily thing for me. And it doesn't get heated, you know. Main event was fire. Yeah, 100%. Whitaker was on his way to losing, or at least a close fight. He kind of quit. I didn't mean to be a dick. I'm just gonna call out shit. Yeah, dude, you should, and I'm gonna do the same. But at the end of the day, like everybody's entitled to their opinion. So if I mean, a lot of people are gonna be down on Taira because, like I said, you know, it's like it's the UFC machine that's gonna promote these guys as the next champion of the UFC. So no, dude, don't even feel bad. Heavyweights had no energy. Yeah, that is so true. That fight was It was a barroom brawl, scrappy, but shades of Dada versus Kimbo, if you ask me. Um, Junior Taffa, man. I mean, this guy kind of sucks. Good kickboxer. I mean, to me, it's like, why isn't he over in Glory or kickboxing? You know, it makes no sense to me. That guy has no fucking grappling at all. So, yeah. But yeah, you guys poke fun at me. Oh yeah, all done. And call me out. No hate on my end. This is poking fun, just calling out extreme takes and shifting on fighters who put their lives on the line for our entertainment. Yeah, dude. I mean, you don't have to explain it to me, man. I get it. I mean, that's part of it. That's part of the fun, though, man. Is we're all fucking just fucking around, messing with each other. And at the end of the day, like if I have a stupid take, call me right the fuck out on it, and I'll defend it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's what it is, man. They have trouble finding great heavyweights. Yeah, heavyweight's definitely one of those divisions that, like, at the top, it's very top heavy. Um, the joke ran its course. I don't know what joke. Your stupid take is Swiss MMA is good. Love this card. Even had a loud crowd for the Apex. Yeah. Yeah, the crowd was popping for that main event. Somebody in Isha's chat did mention though that like that was the worst part about that main event, right? Is that it wasn't in front of a proper crowd. And I totally second that, man. This fight in particular did deserve a proper crowd because it was that good of a fight. So yeah, good point, man. It was loud even in the Apex. But yeah, man, I mean shit, if nobody else wants to hop in, probably call it a stream. Thank you everybody for being here. I just like doing these post-fight instant reaction shows just to kind of get everybody's thoughts on the main on the card as a whole and everything that went down in the night. It was a good night. It's going to be a good weekend still to come. I mean, there's still some fights tonight, some boxing. I know that Isha and Jay will be doing their show. Oh, Ganscow says you jump on. Hell yeah. Sick. I'll drop it in there one more time. I gave a bad take. Sorry. And no worries, man. Just it doesn't have to make you so mad that you're just like you're just bummed for the rest of the night, man. I mean, and again, like you're entitled to your opinion, bro. Like it's no big deal. I was trying to move the show forward, but it seemed like there was no saving it. So did my best. But yeah, I mean, I do understand people being down on Taira. Again, I just think that it's more like the promotion maybe not tricked you, but just got to you with the way they were promoting it, you know. This guy's the next Japanese star, you know, and turns out he's not, man. Turns out I mean, he could still be a star, but he lost a fight. This is his first fight he ever lost in the UFC against Brandon Royval. I think he looked really good even for that. But nonetheless, I mean, he gets it done. I mean, he gets a loss and back to the drawing board. I mean, I think he's going to learn a lot from this fight. Definitely got to work on his hands. But I thought he fought really hard, man. His face was fucking pieced up after the fight too. Royval is that dog, the raw dog, and good win, man. Good win. Definitely was expecting him to win. He was an underdog, but nonetheless, man. Yeah, good shit for him. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have like a rating for the card, drop it in the chat. Let me know what you guys' rating is. Again, I'm giving it like a 7, especially for the setting, right? The Apex being just kind of a throwaway card, getting us to the next event. Next week's card looks decent for Michelle Pereira and Alexander Hernandez, another sick main event. I mean, he's the guy with one loss, and it was in the UFC. He's easily still one of the best Japanese fighters in the world outside of Kyoji and Kai. Being young, there's so much time. Yeah, I totally agree. I wanted to scream at Royval. Actually, I was. Stay away from him. I was doing the same, Amberly. I was like, what are you doing? Stop grappling. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought about the card overall. Give me like a rating, a grade, whatever. Ganskow says he's gonna hop on, so I always forget to put the fucking ticker on. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, Isha, shout out to you, man. You did a lot today. Streaming, what was it, 2 or 3 cards? So sick. Like I said, didn't watch Octagon. Watch Beterbiev and Baval for the few fights that I was able to catch. I have watched the first. I didn't watch the first 4 fights, but still, from what I saw, 7.5 is fair. I think it was a pretty good card. Yeah, especially for being at the Apex and just the throwaway card. Shout out to Hank. He put in 8 hours too. Yeah, dude streamed for a long time. Yeah, I guess we can kind of. We wait. Can kind of see what's up next. Dude, I mean, I'm super stoked that Beterbiev won. Live, I did score it for Bivol. I thought that he got the win, but it was a close fight, man. I wasn't shocked with the decision, and I kind of felt the same way about the UFC main event. Like, it could have went either way, but this fight in particular was really close. One judge did have it 116 to 112, which I thought was pretty out of pocket. The fight was so interesting because, like, where did Ganskow go? I don't know. I had it tied going to round 11, and I thought Beterbiev won 11 and 12. Word. I had it tied going to round 11. I thought, yeah. What was so interesting is, like, in my opinion, Bivol did the better work in the first half of the rounds, and then at the second half of the rounds, Beterbiev like came back with flurries and just kind of figured out Bivol. The fight was insanely close. I thought that there was times where really what happened is, like, after the 4th round, Beterbiev started getting his jab going. Oh shit, here we go. What is up, Ganskow? Good to see you.
What's up, dude?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. It was a good fight night tonight. I loved it.
Yeah, man. What'd you think about the card overall? Let me pull it up.
For the most part, I thought most of the fights were a banger. It was weird though watching the main event. Like, it was like 1 round, Royval on the feet the whole round. 2nd round, Taira gets him down, basically controls him on the ground with the back control. Then we go back to the standing, and then we go back to the ground, and then the last round was kind of a mix of the both. It was just kind of.
I totally agree. It was lots of ebbs and flows. I think it kind of mirrored the Bivol and Beterbiev fight. Like, honestly.
Yeah, and I thought in the co-main, I thought Tavares was going to get it done in the first. Once he dropped him, I thought it was game over. But that Iron Turtle is a dog.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was shocking to see Brad Tavares drop him so early.
Almost instantly.
Yeah, right. Like, literally right away he drops him, and then you're like, oh, what the fuck? But yeah, no, he Jung Park, dude. I think his striking is fantastic. But we obviously knew heading in that Brad Tavares has that incredible takedown defense. He showed it off here again.
Yeah, it was that fight was crazy. I thought it was gonna be over soon. I told my buddy to put money on Tavares. I thought, as a dog, I thought he had one of the better chances of the whole card. And I thought I secured the bag in the first round. Unfortunately, time is doing him in. I don't think he has a lot of wins left. I think it'll be like this, back and forth, 50-50. But if he can't get him out, it's over.
I agree. It sucks because he's been in the UFC for so long, but he's always just that guy that they put in to build guys up.
But he also fought everybody. Like, they pointed out, he fought like 4 former champions. That's why I was telling him to put money on him. I'm like, the level of talent that Tavares has faced versus Park is not even close. Not even close.
That's a fair point. I do like Jung Park's game. Like I said, though, I mean, and I don't know, give me your thoughts on this. It's like Jung Park's not going to be champ or probably even a top 5 guy in the middleweight division.
No, and that's what I was thinking. He's like, he sticks around outside that 15, fights those guys, gets a couple, but I just don't know if he's got that ability to break into that elite level, even at that weight class, which I feel like anybody's got a shot at this weight class, 185. Like, come on.
I think that Jung Young Park is kind of undersized for middleweight, but I don't know if he'd have any more success at welterweight. I think that always when welterweights jump up to middleweight, they have more success. So
yeah, and they got that big 15-pound jump.
True.
Some of those guys, they fall right in the middle, and it's just
tweeners.
Unfortunately,
Cool cool to see Ganskow on stream. Big shout out to Ganskow, says Isha. Hell yeah.
What's up, Isha?
Can I go take a nap? Good to see you, Ganskow. Hey, hell yeah. I'm a cheese. Leave it to me to be. Watching Nakatani on Monday. Are you gonna stay up super late and watch the fucking Japanese boxing card in the morning?
No. Tomorrow I'm gonna work on my own stream stuff, getting stuff ready.
Cool.
I've done it before, but I've got some new equipment, some other stuff. So
you should private message me in the chat and drop that link, and I'll share it.
Oh, for sure. And I'll try to jump on a few more too. I want to be on with people. Like, I like your stuff. I like crossover MMA. Obviously, Isha's great, but even just watching fights with the boys, I feel like can be a little more fun sometimes.
No, and that's the whole thing, man. Is like it's just part of the community, right? Everyone's got to share their shit, and No Chill hops on here all the time. He gives good insight, and so it's just the more people, the merrier. You know, having different perspectives is always good. Is there any other fights that you want to talk about on this card?
Scroll down. Let's take a look. Some of it I was messing with my OBS, so I was having Grant Dawson is from like 25 miles away from my hometown in Nebraska. He absolutely murked Hoffa Garcia. Murked him. Blood everywhere.
I wasn't expecting him to just fucking maul Hoffa Garcia. I picked him to win by decision, but jeez, dude.
Yeah, I was half paying attention. I saw him get him down and then just start mauling. I'm like, oh shit, let me fucking focus on this fight. This fight's a fucking banger.
What did you think about his post-fight interview? Did you see it?
Oh yeah, I mentioned something about it in the Discord I was in. I felt like that's like it's one of those like switch moments where those guys, something switches in them, kind of like Hanato Moicano, and that mindset alters, and you see them come out like a different fighter. And I'm wondering if that's not the start of that.
I agree, man. I think it's the same thing with like Taira. I know that Grant Dawson in a different division and older than Taira, but it's like sometimes those losses, man, they either make or break you, you know?
Oh, for sure. And I think Taira's still young. It's going to be easy to get back in there. And he's definitely fighting for the title at some point. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind.
He's definitely got that potential. Yeah, I'll just keep scrolling down. D-Rod's
a dog.
Yeah, did you watch Ramzan just absolutely maul CJ and just turn him into a track star?
Yeah, Vergara did that in that one fight, and he was like, I said he was going to do it, and it was like point on the same dead sprint running against the cage away from his opponent. I couldn't believe it. I think the last one I think that fight was a draw at the end that he did that in. Might have been Vinicius
Oliveira, yeah.
I think it might have been that fight, but he was running and then came back and out-dogged him, so I never count Vergara out just from that one fight.
Same. I was giving Vergara his props, and for Ramzan to come in and just straight up maul, dude, I think is super impressive, and I have high hopes for him.
Yeah, it looked like easy work for him.
Patty Sabs gets a sub on JSP.
JSP's overhyped. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I actually picked him to win, so I'm in that crowd. I thought he looked okay.
He's hype because of the JSP. It sounds like GSP. It's the only reason why.
Yeah, I think that losing to what the fuck is his name? Oh, Brito. I didn't really have him down. Wasn't too down on him for losing to Brito. I thought that the David Onama fight was really close, and so I didn't think he looked terrible in his losses. But try to play that grappling game with Pat Sabatini, and you get subbed.
Yeah, and he's struggling with these mid-level guys at the moment, which is not a good sign.
True. Yeah, I think he's on borrowed time at this point in the UFC. Themba Garimbo has a pretty unimpressive, and from my eye, performance against Nico Price.
Somehow Nico doesn't get knocked out other than Robbie Lawler. Like,
I picked him to get knocked out, but Themba just ain't that dude.
chin's
He
back.
didn't hurt him
boy.
at one point, though.
Yeah, he did. A few times. I mean, he was landing some heavy strikes.
Yeah. Did you watch Tafa? Dude, this
Oh,
fight.
I thought he was done. Like, that he got
Same.
saved by the bell, dude. I was in Isha's chat going wild. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That shit was funny.
That was terrible.
Gas bags in the second. Like, there was no way
Straight
either
up.
of them were making it to the end of the fight.
And yeah, I mean, Cody Haddon and Clayton Carpenter make a good debut. Or I think Cody Haddon was coming off of Dana White Contender Series. Clayton Carpenter might have been as well. But yeah, overall,
Yeah.
decent fight. A lot of fighters, I thought I said they were fighting for their jobs. Yeah, I think there are going to be some roster
JSP.
cuts after this one. But did you watch the boxing card?
No. I watched Karate Combat last night and the first couple fights in loose, and then I fell
How was
asleep.
Karate Combat?
Karate Combat was fire. The Pereira looks just like her brother, spot on. The flying armbar triangle off the top of the pit.
I heard about that off the fucking sidewall.
Yeah, he was like feet at the top of the sidewall and jumps this thing like it was WWE, locks in the armbar, and then instantly gets the tap. Wild. But this only happens with the pit.
So, do you think that the rule change is making Karate Combat more exciting? Is it going to be better for the promotion moving forward?
Starting off, I think it's important because it's evolving into a unique rule set that it's its own. It's not MMA, it's not Muay Thai, it's not kickboxing, it's not even karate at this point. Like traditional karate, and there's different types of karate as well, but it's evolving into what we want to see as fans. And I think once we kind of reach that point of what that peak fights, I think the rule changes will slow down because we're just trying to gain the things that we want to see and that we can see based off of commissions at the moment. Obviously, we're not getting soccer kicks in the United States anytime soon. Like, it's going to take a minute before we get that stuff. So, but definitely a positive.
They got him in one when they go to Denver, if they ever go back there again, which I don't think they will after canceling the Atlanta show. I was bummed I was going to go to that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I heard rumors when we were in Denver. I heard rumors of it, but everybody was like, "Oh no, that's not. They're fine. Look, they're still advertising the show."
Dude, it sucks because it's just that energy in that arena was so sick, dude. And I mean, it was a 21,000 seat arena. They were able to sell out, but I noticed there was something fishy as soon as the tickets were double the price for the Atlanta show.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that. I wasn't planning on going to Atlanta. That's way over there. I like to drive everywhere, so it's a little bit different.
I was gonna drive.
Oh shit!
Fucking bummed, man. But yeah, the only thing, my biggest gripe with Karate Combat is the ground and pound rule. And again, I think that you hit it on the head. Is like, well, it's not kickboxing. It's not, MMA. It's its own thing. I think they should stay in that lane. But at the same time, the ground and pound rule, I hate it because it seems like, and I've seen people win fights just by throwing a guy, ground and pounding him. He gets up, you throw him again, ground and pound him. Like, it's like that's not stand up fighting, or I don't know. It's so unclear. Sometimes they let the ground and pound happen for a long time, and then sometimes they stand him up right away. So that's my only gripe with Karate Combat.
Yeah, and a lot of that is that the rule set is changing and it is still kind of new. And so even the refs aren't as fine-tuned on it, and they're trying to watch all these things in real time too. But you'll see the fight, understand the rule set, because they'll keep like knee on belly, or they'll keep that one knee elevated at all times. That way they can land the ground and pound. Some of these guys are going to have to learn a little bit more sweep defense and things like that to stop getting taken down. You can't shoot these double legs and stuff like that in Karate Combat and ground and pound off of those. It has to be the sweeps, catching the kicks, things like that.
That's a good point. I think a lot of Muay Thai fighters would probably adapt to it well.
Oh, for sure. Because that's their bread and butter. So just sweeps constantly. But it used to be only 5 seconds. We changed the rule to allow it indefinite as long as you continue the strikes. If there's a pause,
I didn't know that.
You stand them up. So, and that changed, I think, last year.
Okay, that makes sense. And because I actually only started really watching entire cards as of this year.
Yeah, and that's kind of like it's really hit its peak over the past year. They've had the right people there. Obviously, you've seen like Pettis, Rockhold, some of these guys go over there and fight. Benson Henderson. So
yeah, Aljo was in a grappling match not that long ago too.
Yeah, Aljo's grappling everywhere. I've always loved watching Aljo doing jiu-jitsu. I thought his jiu-jitsu was amazing to watch. I think he's been on CFFC as well. They're grappling. He's all over. But the pit submission, I believe, that's the premier fighting surface for jiu-jitsu. I don't like open mat, having to reset constantly. The cage, I don't like the view for the spectator watching through the cage is not fun. I know you've been to the events. It's hard to see into the cage, especially with
you got to have the right seats or else it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know there's a camera on a boom sometimes. I went to BKFC, there's a camera on a boom, like in my view the entire time.
Fuck.
It's like, bro, I'm moving. I'm not sitting here. This is bullshit.
I remember the Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois card, like the first like 10 rows. I had a clear view of the ring, but every row back, there was like these giant columns for like a Jumbotron. And I was like, dude, can you imagine if you got a seat behind the Jumbotron at Wembley, bro? You'd be so fucked.
It's terrible. And then to put a barrier in between you and the fighters that you have to see through, it makes it even more difficult. That's why I like the pit, keeping it open. I like that the pit wall is considered a wall, so you're not grounded against it. You're only grounded if you go to the actual floor.
Yeah, good shit. Kobe Wiggle says he loves your set. Hell yeah, dude, that shit's looking good. Send me that. Send me the link to your channel, man, and I'll drop it in here, man, and I'll go sub to it too. If you can, there's a private chat option right there. Just type it in because you can't actually drop a link if you're not a mod in the chat. So, but yeah, I'm gonna try and do a kickboxing stream tonight. It'll be Rise West. I don't think it's geo-blocked. I hope it's fucking not. But if not, I'll be tuning into some of that Japanese boxing that's going down tonight. Stay up super fucking late again to watch shit in Japan. But yeah, I mean, so what are you doing over on your channel?
So I just started. I've only done like a few live streams, and I did those a few months back. I did a karate combat kickback, obviously, because that's what I do. I've done a BKFC event and a UFC. I want to do some more watch parties, but I want to do a lot of rants too, kind of like we're doing now, just going bullshit on whatever's in the news, whatever we're talking about. Karate combat's doing stuff different. I like to talk about it. I like the change in the energy. You know, switching over to the UFC and the Apex, and they give you this generic music between like commercials. Everything's very toned down. There's nothing. And then you see the commercial for the PFL with Headed versus Francis. Mind-boggling ad compared to what the UFC gives me.
I agree.
What are we doing?
I've long thought that just like Dana's just phoning it in, like he just doesn't care anymore. He's already sold for big bucks, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll power slap. You have sort of power slap, you know?
Yeah, and I think these are the parts of the problems of becoming a public company. When you have investors, people are looking to turn profits rather than to make something they're proud of. You know, Dana building the UFC was proud of what he was making, and you can see that through the product. But now that we're in this ESPN era, they've gone public. They have all these investors, and Dana's just along for the ride. It's about clean cut, easy, cheapest way we can do it. Put them in a warehouse. It's just not. It's not good. It's stale.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Someone's going to compete with them if they don't change it.
I sure hope so, man, because it's you got shows like One canceling shows in America, and there's been rumors about how long they'll be around. Bellator obviously is gone. PFL is
sad,
not very good, just because they don't have elbows, and I get it for their tournaments, but anyway, but yeah, no, man, I appreciate you hopping on, chatting it up with me, especially after the things happened earlier. So you're welcome anytime, man. I dropped your channel name. I dropped the link for it in the chat. You guys go subscribe to Ganscow. Like I said, you're welcome anytime, man. Maybe I'll hop on your channel sometime. We'll chop it up, man. And good to see you. Good to meet you over in Denver, man. It was a fucking killer time.
Oh yeah,
all your crew is the good homies too. So shout out to them.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And my friend Paul, was into one before I was, so he was the one who's like, "You got to watch this event. You got to watch these guys." And I was more of a one casual. I was watching like Cage Wars and all, but I never really watched the one. And he was the one who was hammering it, and he didn't watch the UFC. So I started bringing him over for fight night. So every pay-per-view, we all get together and throw parties. We watch the pay-per-view. Man. I'll never live stream a pay-per-view because I got the boys over and we're
man,
out.
that's fucking sick, man. Yeah, I'm
nothing better.
I tried to have the watch parties with a bunch of people, like, you know, obviously not people that are super into combat sports. So it's just like it gets so annoying. But yeah, no, that's sick, man. And the community's growing, you guys. But yeah, we've almost done an hour, so I'm gonna hop off of here. Thanks again, Genskow. We'll chat it up later. But yeah, that's it for me, man. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. And remember, MMA is supposed to be fun.